World students. I'm Susan Kennedy with the Channel 4 News, where the news for you is what we do. On today's agenda, we will be addressing today's global issues. The recent college scandal has been a hot topic. Let's send it to Nancy Stewart for more information.
Thank you, Susan. Laughlin and Huffman have been in the hot seat recently for the college scandal. Huffman paid $15,000 to arrange for her daughter's cheating on the SAT. Laughlin paid for her daughters to be recruited for the rowing team, although never having rowed before at USC. Aunt Becky has been canceled. Bye, sister. Suicide rates are on the incline. Let's send it to Janice Nelson for more details on this topic.
Recent studies have shown an annual spike in suicidal rates around September 1st, coinciding with the start of the school year in Japan. Let's send it back to Susan on the topic of lack of education in developing countries.
Yo, Susan! We're rolling!
Thank you, Janice. So, there is a huge lack of access to education in developing countries. This is mainly due to schools being too far away, so kids cannot travel safely or in a timely manner to get to school. Another factor to this is there's not very many capable teachers because not everyone is educated in all these developing countries. And outside of the U.S., outside of the U.S. there's less, outside of the U.S. there is less access to public schools, making it harder and more expensive for parents to send their kids to primary and secondary school. Parents are also forced to choose between paying for food and shelter or paying for their children to get an education. Sending it back to Nancy with information on discrimination within education.
Thank you, Susan. Activists such as Malala are fighting for a right to women's education globally. Along the lines of discrimination, disabled children are faced with educational segregation. Disabled children are 10 times less likely to attend school than other children. Racism in schools is still unfortunately an issue today. Students of color were more than 3 times as likely to attend schools where fewer than 60% of teachers meet all state certification and licensure requirements. Back to Janice for information on lack of funding for schools.
Thank you, Nancy. Lack of funding makes it difficult to build classrooms suitable for learning, as well as buy classroom materials needed to perform well in the classroom. Let's send it back to you, Susan.
Oh my gosh, Janice, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Moving on to the topic of misinformation. Listen up, because this is important. Most people get their information or education on global issues from social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. This information is passed on from several different people, which means most of them are probably unreliable sources. Tweets, posts, and all that fun stuff are often dramatized by the writer in an attempt to gain unnecessary attention. Also, propaganda comes into play within this issue. In some countries, they feel as if the problem is not directly affecting them, then they can just brush it off and not really pay much attention to it. What are your resolutions to this problem?
Well, mine's to go to the gym.
Janice!
What?
It's not what we're talking about.
You asked me what my resolutions were, girl.
This is a problem.
This is a problem.
Okay, but like the problem of lack of education, honey.
All right. I guess we can talk about bigger issues.
Okay. Well, okay. My resolution to this problem would be educating the global population on global issues more effectively and properly so we know we're getting correct information.
And my resolution would be having more projects focused on global issues to raise more awareness in schools.
Mine would be putting more talk and money towards education as opposed to other places.
Let's save this world!
This concludes another segment of Channel 4 News, where the news for you is what we do. Goodbye and have a great day.
Call me.
Add me on
Okay.
Snapchat. Actually, I don't give my Snapchat out. Paying for food and shelter, or paying for their children to get an education. That was really bad. Okay. Get in the corner! You stay in that corner.
Alright, ladles. Okay. Okay, ready?
Okay, my resolution to this problem is that perhaps we should. Shoot, I forgot what I said. I forgot the one that was the first one. I was like gonna blend all of them together on accident. Oh my. Stop yelling at me, please.
It's are good for your eyes. Let's send it back to Susan.
Wait, let's do some ASMR. This is disgusting. But carrots are really good for your skin. They won't make you orange like Donald Trump.
Facts.
But I mean, I kind of want to be Donald Trump because
He's like
he's like
really smart.
My resolution is to eat this sandwich.
Stop playing with your food. You're not 7.
I'm sorry.
Spit on myself. That was gross.